Hello friends, my name is Anurit. Welcome to my French learning channel, Le Bon Prof. Hope you're doing great. In this video, I'm going to discuss with you le complément d'objet indirect, that is indirect object, and pronom d'objet indirect, that is the indirect pronoun. On commence. This is the lesson plan of this video. First, I'm going to discuss what is an indirect object, then how to use an indirect pronoun to replace it, where to replace an indirect pronoun. Then I'm going to discuss some examples so that you better understand what is a COI and what is a POI. Then we will do a small quiz so that you can self-analyze your progress. On continue. First of all, let us discuss what is a COI. COI is an indirect object of a sentence. Now, what does it mean? Let me show you with help of an example in English. Later on, we will proceed to French. Example number 1. Rahul writes a letter to his parents. Now, in this sentence, Rahul is the subject, writes is the verb, a letter is a COD, and to is the preposition, and his parents is a COI. Now, COD is not going to be discussed by me in this video. I have made a separate video on COD. If you wish to watch it, please follow my channel. This is our area of interest. To his parents. Rahul writes a letter to his parents. Now, why we call this a COI or an indirect object? Because it is followed by a preposition, to. In French, to preposition is denoted by a accent. So, Rahul writes a letter to his parents. This is the COI or an indirect object. Why? Because it is preceded by the preposition to. So, till now, I hope COI is clear. What is a COI? We proceed. COI pronoun or a POI replaces the indirect object to avoid repetition. Now, like any pronoun in French or in English or any other language, a pronoun is used to replace a noun and avoid repetition. If a noun already has been introduced, we use a pronoun to replace it and make our sentences look lexically and grammatically more correct. Therefore, you can see here in the second sentence, I have replaced parents, which is an indirect pronoun, with the indirect object with the indirect pronoun, which is them. Rahul writes a letter to his parents. Rahul writes a letter to them. Them is a POI and his parents is a COI. Let's see another example. Ruchi does not give money to the beggar. Here, Ruchi is the subject. You have the verb here. You have the COD here. You have the preposition. You have the COI. Now, we are interested in the COI. You will use a POI to replace the COI. Ruchi does not give money to him. So, this is the indirect pronoun or a POI. This is the indirect object or a COI. So, I hope till here it is absolutely clear to you. What is a COI? COI is nothing but an indirect object. Why it is indirect? Because it is preceded by a preposition. Here in this video, we're going to discuss only the objects that are introduced by preposition a. And how it is replaced? It is replaced by the indirect object, which is called indirect pronoun, which is also called as POI. Now let us see how it looks like in French. So this is the POI here. These are the subject pronouns, je, me, il, elle, nous, vous, il, elle, plural. These are the indirect pronouns or the POI. Me, te, lui, nous, vous, leur. Now here you can see them. We replaced his parents with them. Here, them we use leur. Then we used him for the beggar. For him we use lui. So if you have to replace them, you will use leur and you will replace lui with him. That's how you will do it in French. Of course, the placement also we will discuss. Moi and toi, if you are using imperative, me apostrophe and the apostrophe, if the word preceding me and the starting with a vowel, so you drop e here and you put an apostrophe. And you can also see that the indirect pronoun for both masculine singular and feminine singular is same. Similarly, it is same for masculine and feminine plural, which is leur. On continue. Rules of using and placing POI. Now, if you learn and properly apply these 6 rules, you will never go wrong in how to use an indirect pronoun. It can be used to replace an indirect object. We have already discussed it. It can only be used to replace a person, and unlike COD, which is used to replace both a person and a thing, this one can be used only for a person. It is placed before a single verb. What does it mean? Let's take the same example like we've done earlier. What was the sentence in English? Rahul writes a letter to his parents. Rahul écrit une lettre à ses parents. Rahul writes a letter to his parents. His parents. This is the COI or the indirect pronoun, indirect object. Why? Because it is preceded by a preposition a. Therefore, ses parents or them. What do you use for them? Let's go back and see. Them, you use leur. And where do you place it? It is placed before a single verb. This is a single verb, meaning only one verb in the sentence. Rahul. So you will use leur and you will place it before the single verb. Rahul leur écrit une lettre. Rahul writes a letter to his parents. Rahul writes a letter to them. So, ses parents is replaced by leur. On continue. Ruchi ne donne pas d'argent aux mendiants. Let's go back and see. Here. Ruchi does not give money to the beggar replaced by him. Him as in lui. So, Ruchi ne lui donne pas d'argent. Where is lui placed? Before the single verb. Next. Il a souhaité bonne santé à la femme. Now this is past tense, passé composé. Rule number 3. It is placed before the auxiliary verb in passé composé. Auxiliary verb here, avoir is the auxiliary verb, so POI will be placed before it. He wished, a souhaité, wished good health to the woman, a la femme. So femme will be replaced by lui. As you've seen, masculine, feminine singular is same, lui. So, il lui a souhaité bonne santé. Lui is placed before the auxiliary a. Next, je vais prêter une voiture au Anu et Nia. Now you can see there are two verbs here. Ve, which is aller, and prêter, which is to lend. I am going to lend a car to Anu and Nia, to them. So what do we do in case of two verbs? It is placed before infinitive in case of two verbs. Which verb is infinitive here? Prêter, because it is not conjugated. So, je vais leur prêter une voiture. I'm going to lend a car to Anu and Nia. I'm going to lend them a car. Ils permettent au garçon. They permit to the boy. Permit whatever, X, Y, Z, whatever. So now here we are using imperative. You drop the subject. Permettons lui. What do we use for affirmative imperative? It is placed after the verb in affirmative imperative. That is positive. You place lui after the verb and you connect it using a hyphen. It is placed before the verb in negative imperative. In negative, you will place lui before permettons. Na lui permettons pas. Alright, I hope this much is clear to you. We have discussed the rules and we have discussed some examples. On continue. Some more examples. Il lui téléphone. He called him or her. Je leur achète une voiture. I buy them a car. Elle nous a parlé hier. She talked to us yesterday. Je vous dis bonjour. I say good morning to you. Il t'a offert un cadeau. He offered a gift to you. Elle te loue une voiture. He rented a car to you. Promets-moi. Promise me. Me becomes moi in imperative when it comes after the verb. Ne me promets pas. Do not promise me. Here, me remains the same because the placement of the POI does not change in negative imperative. Now, let us do a small quiz and see if you have understood this chapter. Okay, now there are 8 sentences. You have to replace the words highlighted in yellow with POI or indirect pronouns. You can pause the video here and then play it again to see the answers. So I hope you have done it. I am going to show the answers now to you. Are you ready? Okay. So here are the answers. Elle a demandé à Monsieur Leblanc de faire balayer. He demanded to Monsieur Leblanc to sweep. So Monsieur Leblanc is replaced by Louis, is placed before the auxiliary. Elle ordonne au garçon d'acheter une pizza. She ordered the boy to buy a pizza. Garçon is replaced by Louis and is placed before the verb ordonne. He ordered him to buy a pizza. Ne parle pas aux méchants enfants. Do not talk to naughty kids. So we replace méchants enfants by leur. Ne leur parle. Do not talk to them. Je vais téléphoner à mes parents. I'm going to telephone or I'm going to call my parents. Mes parents replaced by leur. I'm going to call them. Obey à ton professeur. Obey your professor. Ton professeur is replaced by Louis and connected by the dash here. Obéis Louis. Ne nous promettons pas, nous ne permettons pas aux élèves de prendre notes. We do not allow the students to take notes. Élève is replaced by leur and placed before the verb. Nous ne leur permettons pas de prendre notes. We do not allow them to take notes. Il faut répondre au chef le plus vite possible. You must respond to the boss at the earliest possible. Il faut lui répondre le plus vite possible. Chef is replaced by Louis and placed before the infinitive verb. You must respond him at the earliest possible. Je conseille à la femme de se dépêcher. I advise the woman to hurry up. Femme is replaced by Louis and is placed before conseil. Je lui conseille de se dépêcher. I advise her to hurry up. So I hope you got almost 6 to 7 correct. On continue. So what did we learn in this revision, in this chapter? We did what is COI. Now COI is an indirect object of a sentence. It is always preceded by a preposition. What is a preposition here? It is a. Now a la becomes au, a la. Then if it is plural, it becomes aux. Now, indirect pronoun is used to replace a COI. What is an indirect pronoun? Me, te, lui, nous, vous, leur. These are the indirect pronouns. And for masculine, feminine, singular, it is lui. For masculine, feminine, plural, it is leur. So I hope you understood COI and how to use POI to replace it. In case you liked my video, please like, share and subscribe it, and keep watching this space for more interesting videos on French. À plus tard. Have a great day.